Welcome to Talk Tax. I am Carolita Edwards. This week, we will be talking about whether the gratuity payment an individual receives will be subject to income tax. Once employed, an individual may be entitled to several benefits. One of the benefits employees normally receive is called gratuity. An individual may receive a gratuity payment depending on the contractual arrangement that exists between the employee and their employer. In Guyana, most individuals receive gratuity every 6 months or when they retire from their job. For those employees that are entitled to receive gratuity payment upon retirement, they must obtain a liability statement from the Guyana Revenue Authority before such payment is made available to them. To acquire the liability statement, the applicant must comply with Section 60 of the Income Tax Act, Chapter 80101, which dictates that an individual must file an income tax return for each year employed. Once employed, the taxpayer will be required to submit individual income tax returns for the past 8 years. Additionally, the applicant will need to complete an application form, which is available on the GRA's website, and submit some form of identification, that is, a valid ID or passport. Once all documents are submitted, the liability statement will be processed by the GRA in order to determine the applicant's liability status. If it is determined that the applicant do not have any outstanding taxes, the statement is issued to the taxpayer. On the other hand, if there are outstanding taxes, same will have to be paid by the taxpayer. Notwithstanding the above, if the taxpayer is not in a financial position to pay the outstanding taxes, they can take the option of requesting that the outstanding amount be deducted from their gratuity and remitted to the Guyana Revenue Authority by the holder of the gratuity payment. Talk Tax will be back after this short break.
A compliance certificate and a liability statement confirms that you have met the requirements under the Income Tax Act. If you want to bid for a government contract, sell or buy land or property, you must first obtain a compliance certificate. If you want to apply for a small business loan, claim your pension benefits, gratuity, or obtain a firearm license, then you must first obtain a liability compliance. Find the liability and compliance application forms and the requirements for application online at gra.gov.gy. GRA, your partner in development.
Welcome back to Talk Tax. Before the break, we spoke about all you need to submit to the Guyana Revenue Authority to obtain a liability statement in order to obtain your gratuity payment. Now, let's examine whether the gratuity payment an individual receives will be subject to income tax. In accordance with Section 13Z of the Income Tax Act, Chapter 80101, pensions, gratuity paid in lieu of pensions to government employees in respect of contracts of employment or service, and annuities paid out of superannuation fund is exempt from income tax. Therefore, the gratuity payment received by a public sector employee, whether every 6 months or upon retirement, will not be subject to income tax. However, any gratuity payment made to a private sector employee will be subject to income tax at the rate of 28 or the dual rate of 28 and 40%. The application of these rates depend on the individual's chargeable income and is in accordance with Section 36 and 36A of the Income Tax Act, Chapter 80101. The process of obtaining a liability statement for gratuity purpose takes approximately 5 working days once all requirements are satisfied. Taxpayers are reminded that they are still required to submit their individual income tax returns and pay their taxes despite missing the due date. For additional information, feel free to contact the Guyana Revenue Authority's Tax Advisory Services section on telephone number 227-6060 extension 8000. You can also email them at taxadvisory@gra.gov.gy. Additionally, your queries can also be sent to their WhatsApp numbers 707-9841 or 707-9842. See you on the next Talk Tax.